stars, we shine so bright. Wisdom flowing pure inside. Soars through God's words, they lift us high. New beginnings reach the sky. Every moment take it in. Start anew, let's begin. From the dawn to the night, together we ignite. Daily lesson quiz, hooray! What did we learn today? Join the farm, let's all play. Reflect, reset, rise today.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to First Light Reflections, your weekday guide to self-discovery and empowerment, where each sunrise brings you and I a new chance to reflect, reset, and create the best version of ourselves. How are we doing out there this morning? How is everyone doing? I hope you had a wonderful day yesterday, a wonderful evening. How did we do during the prayer time? Did you have time for self-reflection? I pray that you did. And just give me a moment as I set and fix something here. But I hope that you did. What's going on, Jay? What's going on? I see everyone coming in. All right. Let's see. All right. We're looking good. All right. And before we dive in, as usual, let's go through. As I say, roll call, because y'all know I'll do them truancy checks. I will call, text, email, however, send a pigeon to check on you in some sort of shape or fashion. Good morning, Anita. Good morning, Vanessa. What's going on, 15G? How are things going up there in your neighborhood? Hey, Alicia. And Sister B, of course. Good morning, Sister B. Hey, San. Seems like I just saw you a few hours ago. How you doing? You hanging in there, San? You doing all right? Boy, last I saw San, she was on one good look. She was just tired. So, Vanessa, too, as a matter of fact. She was like, I'm tired. But that's all right. I hope that everyone got some rest and you ladies are well rested, up and at 'em, and just full of energy and ready to go, right? But before we dive in to this morning's topic, you know what we have to do. We have to do things decent in order because God granted us grace. He granted us mercy. And he also granted us Marie. She is here with us this morning saying, blessed day, everyone. God bless. And there we go. 54:30. What's going on, Van? How you doing? You ready for later on? You ready? So, family, let's get to it. Let us not delay any longer, but let us pause, set aside distractions, open our hearts, prepare our minds for the wisdom that God has stored in his word for today. As we come into this first light reflection, just thankful for the grace and mercy that God has given us. So let us invite him into our presence as we are here on a kingdom mission for his purpose, right? And through his purpose comes our purpose. So let's thank him for that. Lord, we just want to thank you this morning, granting us the grace, granting us mercy. Lord, as we seek the peace that surpasses all understanding, we know that peace is only found through your word. And may we find much wisdom in the message that you have for us this morning. We invite you, come and tabernacle amongst us this morning, and may you be glorified in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, family. Are y'all ready for today's topic? Let's look at it. Life a mess? Let's build on God's blueprint today. This falls under the overarching topic of feeling lost, discovered the wisdom behind God's perfect design. And as I went through this study, even myself, I'm like, man, I got to put that's an additional note. Come on, Proverbs, come on through with it. I'm telling y'all, I am enjoying myself going through Proverbs verse by verse, chapter by chapter, right? And for those that may be new coming in with us, we started at the beginning of this quarter, right? Because we break everything down into quarters. We're in the last quarter of the year. So the last quarter of the year, God gave me the mission of we're going through the valley of Proverbs because, for a while I had the saying of, knowledge that's not applied, right? What is wisdom? Wisdom is knowledge applied. So, the Spirit just really impressed upon me. Well, best place for wisdom, go to Proverbs. Go all the way through Proverbs through the rest of this quarter of the year. So that is what we're doing. That's the journey that we're on. And so far, we're making our way through chapter 3. We've covered the ground of 1 and 2, and may we just continue to be fruitful and take the information that we're learning, right, and apply it so it does become wisdoms, and we pass that fruit out and share it amongst others as we go through. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Chaos. Many are living in a constant rush, barely getting by in the hustle of the daily demands, all of the deadlines, all of the distractions that come stacked on top of that. So, our question of the day: does life ever feel chaotic? Like you're just juggling so much that everything is just starting to fall out of place. You're doing so much, you're doing everything, but at the same time, you feel nothing is being done, that you're getting nowhere. You just, as I said, I was a couple of weeks ago when someone started laughing. I said, you're just taking the spaghetti, throwing it at the wall, and see what will stick, to see if it is done, to see what works, right? But imagine if you could build a life with the same wisdom and the same order that God used to create the world. And I always like to say, God is a God of order. Therefore, I strive to be, because none of us are perfect. We are all striving for the mark. So God is being the God of order. Let us strive to be just the same, because it does say that we are made in his image. And for any situation, we can take it back to that, just that simple fact alone. I am made in his image. So is what I'm doing, are the things that I'm doing, is what I'm about to do, would this be in his image? How does this reflect, right? So it's a question that we can apply to everything. But as we go through with our devotional text today, looking at applying that same wisdom, that same very order that God used to create the world. So in today's devotional, Proverbs chapter 3, we're picking up at verse 19, and we'll also pull in and we'll travel through the valley of verse 20 this morning, because it will show us something powerful. Are y'all ready? Let me know. Let me know. Grab your classmates, grab everybody, grab saying if she distracted over to say, come on, we about to take off on this journey. Are y'all ready to go this morning? Just let me know. Just let me know. And I know there may be a delay for some, so I always give it a few minutes. I don't want to be rude. You remember that bus driver that you had when you were growing up, and you just be running and running, running. And the bus driver would see you, but what would they do? Close that door and take off. And you're like, now I know they saw me. Now I got to walk to school. But thank goodness I grew up in a very small town. You could holler on the east side and they could hear you on the west side, right? Wasn't no phones, wasn't any of that stuff needed. So when the bus driver would pull up, and I'd never forget her name, Miss Lottie, boy. And we had the apple bus and the orange bus. Man, we missed the bus. It only took 10 minutes to walk to the school. But just the fact that she would leave us, she saw us running to get on that bus. But Miss Lottie was like, hey, I said, was y'all ready? And if you wasn't ready, standing at this door to get on. And she would reach over and she would grab and she would swing them. And she had a rhythm to swing that thing, to swing that door closed. Right, Sister B says ready. Sam put a thumbs up. Jay said, come on, quit playing around. You know I got stuff to do, Tor. I'm ready. Let's go. All right, fam, let's go. Right? The Lord, by wisdom, look at it now, founded the earth. By understanding, he established the heavens. By what? By his knowledge, the depths were broken up and clouds dropped down dew. Mercy. Lesson done. Let's all go home. Proverbs chapter 3, verses 19 and 20 shows us that God created the world with wisdom. And that same wisdom, family, that same wisdom, Anita, is available to us. You say, how so? How is it? Right? Because this isn't just any kind of wisdom. It's divine wisdom that establishes structure, that establishes harmony, Sister B, and also balance. Now think about it. If God used wisdom to create the universe and bring order to everything in it, then we're safe to say using wisdom can bring order to our own lives, no matter how chaotic things may feel right now. So today, we're going to explore how living by God's wisdom, the very wisdom that created the heavens and the earth, can help us, can help you and I to create a life of purpose, a life of balance, and saying a life of clarity. God's wisdom is the foundation of creation. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 19 says, again, the Lord by wisdom founded the earth. By understanding, he established the heavens. Let's do what we do here each and every weekday morning at 5:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. Let's break this down line upon line, precept upon precept. God's wisdom isn't just about an abstract idea. It's a practical force, family. He used wisdom to design the world, setting every element in its place with perfect precision and for a purpose, for a reason. So when we look at creation, we see the evidence of wisdom in the order of the seasons, the balance of the ecosystems, and the way that everything works together harmoniously. Now, we know that man comes in and says, you know what? I really don't think that he meant for that moon to be there. So let's get on the PR 5000 and fly up there and shift it over a little bit, because I really don't think that he meant for it to hang that way. Let's go fix it for him, right? But we know better. And all we can do is pray, family. Good morning, Arlene. Good morning. Good morning, Gilda. Glad to see you with us as we look at our topic this morning of life a mess. We're building on God's blueprint. So consider this. Consider the balance in nature. We have plants that produce, right? Plants produce oxygen. Animals rely on the plants. And then humans rely on what? On both. This interconnected design doesn't happen randomly. It's intentional, right? Like Alicia and I, us Appleolians. This system works together intentionally when they put it together. When I send something from this right here with this little button that says airdrop, boom, it pops up on this computer, or it pops up on this computer, or I can jet it intentionally across to the iPad in the other room, right? It's an interconnected system that doesn't just happen randomly. Why? Because Apple designed it that way. That's just the way they wanted things, Jay. Sorry about that, but that's just how it is, right? God's wisdom creates order, function, and beauty in everything that he made. Satan wants to come in and distract us from seeking wisdom for structure. One of Satan's most effective tactics is to keep us so busy or distracted that we don't make time to seek wisdom. This leaves us living reactively and constantly just dealing with chaos rather than doing what? Rather than being focused on building a life of order. Come on, Alicia. It works together seamlessly. That is the way it's designed to work. When God set things in place, he designed it that way for a reason. Even our bodies, everything that takes place within the body, he did for a reason. That same way, move it forward. The church body, each should have its own appointed function, being able to work together to keep the body of Christ moving forward, right? Hey, but that's a whole nother, I know, that's another lesson, right? That's the Holy Spirit. He be nudging me. Don't you get off track. You keep this bus going, because he knows certain subjects, to the we, they would just take me left, right? And that's one of them. The body. The church body, right? So this leaves us in a vulnerable state, when Satan wants to come in and distract us from seeking wisdom so that we can have some sort of order, so that we can have a solid foundation. He convinces us, tries to, right? Because none of us in here fall for this stuff, right? None of us fall for this. He convinces us that we don't need God's wisdom. We just need more stuff. He convinces us if you just need a few more achievements. That's all you need, Arlene. Just a few more achievements. You need more degrees than a thermometer. Just get a couple of more and you'll be all right. And then you will feel in control. Then you will have order in your life. Think about how easily we're pulled into distractions, especially like the endless scrolling on social media, or feeling the need to keep up with every single trend that's out there. This keeps us from intentionally setting up routines and priorities that will do what for our lives, that will bring order and bring peace. What's the solution? Schedule daily quiet time, intentional time that is uninterrupted, because we know we can sit all day not doing anything, but the moment we sit down with our intentional time, what happens? The phone rings. We remember something on the other that we didn't do in the middle of the day, or what most usually someone calls, texts, email comes through, something happens. So schedule that daily quiet time to seek wisdom and set intentions for the day. And don't let there be nothing that no one can say or do to convince. Nope, this is my time. Hey, you know what? It did what? Well, guess what? It's already done. So it's going to wait till I'm done, right? We have to be intentional in these boundaries that we set, family. So start asking God to help us see the areas where wisdom can begin to bring structure. Lord, show me the areas where I'm needing more structure in my life. Show me the areas where wisdom can bring that structure, just as he used it to bring the structure to the world. So what is the role of understanding? What is the role of understanding when it comes down to creating stability, to building a foundation? What role does having understanding, having clarity play in that? Good morning, Delisa. Glad to see you. Good morning, Michelle. Glad to see you ladies coming in. So this verse, right, as we looked at it in Proverbs chapter 3, verse 19, it tells us that God established the heavens with understanding. So this shows us, actually, you tell me, what does this show us, family? What does this show us? By understanding, he established the heavens. But it starts out telling us the Lord by wisdom founded the earth. So what two things go together? What two things go together? What two things go hand in hand when we look at this passage? I'll wait. As Jay says, I got time today. We're going to slow the bus down and we're going to park it right here. What two things can we clearly see from this? Without having to guess, without having to wonder, God's word is clearly telling us that these two things go hand in hand. I'll wait for it because I know someone has it. And I know you may have gotten caught up in an ad cycle or somewhere, and there may be a little bit delay. So for that, I'll wait. And it gives me an excuse, too, to drink on my tea. Thank you, Vanessa. I'm still going to take another drink. Oh, my goodness. Wisdom and understanding. Thank you. Thank you, Vanessa. Thank you, Alicia. Wisdom and understanding go hand in hand because, now how does this work? Because understanding is going to give us what? The insight to apply the wisdom effectively. So in our lives, it's one thing to know what's wise, but understanding steps in and it helps us figure out how to make wise choices that bring real stability. So it goes hand in hand. Thank you, Sister B. And we prove that. We don't have to prove it. It shows us right here. By wisdom, he founded the earth. By understanding, he established the heavens. So we have to have both of these interconnected systems working together in our lives to produce the final outcome, which we will see as we roll into verse 20. Because think of this, just as God placed the stars and planets in perfect alignment, understanding helps us to place our priorities in the right order. Sometimes they're scattered. We just try and stick, well, we'll stick this here. Well, no, let me go back, rearrange this here. It's just a nonstop game of a game of Jenga. We start stacking everything up, but the foundation is not built properly. And life comes along, pulls out one block, and what happens? Everything comes crumbling down because there was no order. The priorities were not placed in the correct order. So again, being intentional about that. And when we understand our purpose and the values that we are called to live by, family, we can then structure our lives to do what? To align with those purposes. But Satan's subtle tactic, he comes in to create confusion to distract us from God's order. He loves to keep us confused, disoriented, and pushing us to chase conflicting desires. You have one foot in the river and you have one on the bank, right? You have one leg across the horse and then you have the other one on the ground, and you're just trying to balance. You have, right, one arm in the world, one arm in the church, and you're just trying to juggle both, right? But Satan will continually try and push us to chase after those conflicting desires that don't truly align with God's purpose. What happens from that? This confusion disrupts our peace. So he's intentional. He has a mission, he has a purpose, and he follows it through to the letter because he knows that this confusion is going to disturb our peace. It's going to disrupt us. It's going to make our Jenga tower start wobbling and moving back and forth with uncertainty. And this leads us to make impulsive decisions that lack any type of clarity, and they also lack no direction. We're just throwing the spaghetti at the wall to see what will stick. So what is the solution? Praying for clarity and understanding. Ask God to reveal what's truly important. Okay. So many yesterday lost valuable time that cannot be redeemed in angst, in agony, in disbelief, in joy, in celebration, in whatever phase you may have been in. Lost valuable, precious time in confusion, in circumstance, hemming and hawing over something that you have no control over. God is in control. The world, would have been in a better place to just focus on the task that God has assigned them to do and let God be God. Because no matter what the map said, no matter what NBC said, MSNBC, Fox News, any of the stations that you may have watched, the headlines when you open Microsoft Edge, the headlines on Google, you cannot change it. But what you can change is your way of thinking. We have to reframe our minds, refocus and say, who is behind this ultimate plan? What is it that I'm being distracted from by this? Putting so much energy, exerting the pain, the heartache, the distress, deleting pages, deleting friends, mad at people over things that we cannot control. And God is just saying, remember your clarity. Think about the wisdom. Get understanding, right? So many caught in that. When that time could have been spent, Lord, reveal to me what is truly important right now for me to be focusing on. Proverbs chapter 2, verse 6. Let's go back. Reminded us, for the Lord gives wisdom, and from his mouth come what? Knowledge and understanding. So if we are made in his image, what should come from our mouths? I'm done. Lesson done. Lesson done. I'm just playing. If we are made in his image, did knowledge and understanding come from you yesterday? To your brothers, to your sisters, to your co-workers, your friends, your family, whoever it was. Did you spread knowledge and understanding to the world? Or did you spread your feelings, your hurt, your opinions, your thoughts? When God is saying, hello, hello, hello. So, if we're following the rule book, where is it at? Where is it at?
Facts.
If we're following the rule book, when we leave out today, we'll put on our little backpacks, grab our lunch pails. What should be coming from us out to the world? If you're made in his image, Sister Delisa, if you're made in his image, Alicia, what should be coming from us at all times as we strive for the mark? Knowledge and understanding. That is what should be coming. We have to trust that God's wisdom will bring clarity and order. Try it. Prove him. He says, try it. And when Satan comes along and says, you know what? I'm going to try your servant. And God says, which one you want to try today? Which one? Which one? And he says, you know what? I'm going to try Michelle. He says, go try my servant Michelle and see what happens. The only thing you're going to get from her is knowledge and understanding. And Satan said, let me go see. I'll get back with you on that. See, these are the tests that are set up for us. We must seek knowledge in order to have a balanced life. Why? Why do we need this? Why is it important, family? Someone put it in the chat for me. Why is it important, especially at this time in Earth's history, for us to have a balanced life? Why must we seek this with the same zeal that we go out and seek that last item that someone called and told us was on sale at Ross or Macy's or wherever we're going? That same, why? Why must we seek it that same way when we're seeking through the phone to call so-and-so? Because we know that they can confirm the gossip that the other person just called and told us. Wait a minute, let me go through this office. I got to find Jerlene because I know she can tell me if this is true or not. Why must we seek knowledge that same way that we seek the things of the world? Why? I'll wait. I still got it. Let me see. Yep, I got time. Why? Because it's important that we understand these things, family. Not just me giving them back and saying, okay, this is what the rule book says, this is what we do. It's important that I understand, that you understand, that we understand that we're moving together as a cohesive unit on this journey, and we're all in understanding. And that one can feel safe to say, I'm not quite understanding, to take that back again. Or we can look over to her and say, Alicia, what's she talking about? Sister B, you know what she's talking about? Right? I just want to make sure that we're understanding. Why is it important? Alicia says to avoid deception. Proverbs chapter 3 verse 20 says, by his knowledge the depths were broken up and clouds dropped down the dew. Now what does that mean in relation to what we just asked? We must seek knowledge for a balanced life. Why? As we roll in and look at this, right? Here, knowledge refers to God's intricate understanding of how every single thing functions. All right? Let's watch it. He knows what each part of creation needs, whether it's water, whether it's sunlight, whether it's soil, and he provides it in perfect measure. Now, we're called to seek knowledge that allows us to live balanced, intentional lives and avoid extremes and excess. Because God knows he has the knowledge, right? By his knowledge, the depths were broken up and clouds drop down the dew. So he knows the exact amount of everything. So by pulling this thought process into our lives, it keeps us from being in the extreme and the excess category, right? For protection, safety, and favor with God. Good morning, Yolanda. Glad to see you. So glad to see you here with us. That is the reason that we have to seek the balance, right? Seek knowledge, the type of knowledge that will give us balance in our lives. So just as God, let's break it down with an example. Just as God provides dew for the plants at the exact right time. Now, what would happen if dew started forming? No, we know Texas, whoo, mercy, in the heat, in the height of the summer, it gets about 9,675.82 degrees here. By noon, you can forget it. If dew were to form on that grass in that type of heat, what would happen? It would scorch it. So God knows, before the sun rises, I have to have the dew to form over the night so it can nourish, right? In that morning breeze, that coolness of the morning, right? Nothing like walking outside before the sun comes up in the cool of the morning, right? And you look at the dew glistening over the grass. Or you look and there's just that little piece that's hanging off the end of a leaf. God in his order, right? So, just as he provides dew for plants at the right time, the exact time, when it should be there, we need to create space at the right time in our lives for rest, create space at the right time in our lives for relationships, create space at the right time in our lives for growth. We have to have that same pattern of order, and it's outlined exactly for us in God's blueprint, in God's way of doing things. Knowledge helps us recognize where we're overextending. Knowledge helps us to understand and recognize where we need to invest a little more in ourselves. But Satan comes in encouraging a life of imbalance. Just pat yourself up and keep going. Satan encourages a life of being overwhelmed, and he often tempts us into overcommitting. Who's overcommitted before? Let me put both hands up. And you be like, oh my goodness, I forgot I told Vanessa I was going to do this, and I told Sam I was going to do this. I got too much. And I said, oh my goodness. And I still haven't picked up the dry cleaning. I still need to go shopping. Overcommitting, trying to do too much. Satan tempts us into overcommitting and believing that doing it all is the only way to succeed. Knowledge helps us to stay on the righteous path. But overcommitting, this leads us to something else that we talked about. And what's that? Burnout. And it keeps us from the peace that comes from living a life in balance. So what's the solution, family? Reflect on areas of imbalance in your life and go through and start making the necessary, precise adjustments in order to create a space for what truly matters. If it's something that you cannot control, you can do nothing about it. Either you're going to hem and haw, or you say, you know what? God has given me a purpose. He's given me a solution. Let me go and see what I can do about this. Maybe I need to become a senator or a part of Congress. Then I can maybe possibly do something about this. But no, let me stay in my lane and do what God told me to do. Let me work on my purpose. Let me go up on the wall and do the great work that God has called me to do. And I'm not coming down to hem and haw with you about all of this other stuff, right? Good morning, Julia. Glad to see you coming in and saying greetings, dear people. Always glad to see Julia when she pops in with us. So that's the solution. We have to reflect intentionally, reflect on those areas and begin to make the adjustments and create space for the things that matter and move out, prune out Start shaking those leaves off, as we talked about yesterday, and prune those things out of our life that are dragging us down. Ask God to reveal the areas where, Lord, show me where I am overwhelmed, because often we become desensitized to it. We do not even realize that we're over committing ourselves, that we're still going and going and going. The Energizer batteries have long ran out. We're long past burnout. It is through God's grace and God's mercy that we hadn't passed out from a heart attack, a stroke, or something of that nature. Blood pressure through the roof, right? Dehydrated. It is God's grace and mercy that He continues to keep us. So ask Him to reveal the areas where you're overwhelmed, and ask Him to, Lord, help me create a balanced and purposeful rhythm in my life. So what does it look like to apply God's blueprint to our lives with wisdom as the foundation? Just as God used wisdom to lay the foundation of creation, family, we are called to use that same wisdom as the foundation, as the building block for our lives. So when we start with wisdom in every decision, every relationship, and every commitment, with all of those things being grounded on something that is unshakable, wisdom steps in and then helps us to set clear boundaries, clear priorities, and to understand our purpose, and also to avoid the chaos that comes from trying to do everything on our own. Picture building a house without a blueprint. Mercy. Rooms will be scattered, all sorts of derail, especially if someone told, put me out a blueprint. You know, Elder G, I call him Chief. You've heard me talk about him before. Owns a plumbing construction company. He has to have a blueprint. He just cannot go out on the work site and say, you know what, this looks like a good place for a pipeline. Well, I don't know. I think everything has to be measured precisely, man. And the man knows his numbers, I tell you. Everything has to be measured precisely. He has to go back to his office, run out the blueprints, and lay them out. And everybody has to follow the blueprint. Or once that foundation, and it has to be done before the foundation is laid. Because if he goes in and his company puts those pipes, those things in wrong, an inch off this direction, he routes something the wrong direction, it's chaos. It will be pure chaos. It has to be done. The piping has to go through the walls before the other workers come in and start building the walls. Otherwise, they're going to have to come back, tear out the wall to get to the piping to fix the problem. So we have to have a blueprint. So without a blueprint, we try and build a house. Rooms are scattered. Walls might not connect, right? And everything would just feel chaotic. So wisdom is like the blueprint that brings structure and purpose into every part of our lives. So what's the solution, family? Making wisdom our foundation by setting aside time regularly to reflect on our life's blueprint. What's your blueprint? What is your blueprint? What does it look like? What's your plan? What's your purpose? Do you have it written out? Do you know? Align your goals. What are your goals? Align your commitments and your values with God's wisdom, trusting that this foundation will bring lasting peace and purpose. During the evening watch, also known as the Watch of Inner Strength, 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. During this time, it's an ideal time to seek God's wisdom for bringing order into our lives, because as the day's energy starts to peak, it's an invitation to pause, to refocus, and ask for divine guidance. This is a time to pray over areas that may feel scattered, that may feel this blueprint's a little off. Something's not connected right here. Wait a minute. Something's out of alignment. And seek God's wisdom to bring the clarity and balance. Psalms chapter 37, verse 23, we can use that as a guiding prayer. The steps of a good man, and I pulled the amplified version for this. The steps of a good man are directed and established by the Lord, and He delights in His way. Use this watch time, family, to surrender the chaos and seek God's wisdom to establish each step with purpose. And when we follow His blueprint, when we follow the blueprint that He has laid out for our lives, we begin to reflect the peace and the structure that He has designed for us. If life is a mess, follow God's blueprint. Let's look at active solutions. What can we do? Prioritize the reflection time. Just simply set aside a few minutes daily to ask God for the wisdom and the clarity in each and every area of your life. Create a routine. Structure your day around consistent routines that support your values and support your goals. You're busy trying to be the do all and be all and handle everything else. And then at the end of the day, I didn't get to me again today. So create that structure that supports your values and your goals. Limit the distractions. Cut down on activities or habits that you know can create chaos of any form, like excessive screen time or this big one, saying yes, 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 saying yes too much. Seek understanding in decisions. Don't just go in with your first reaction, because that's what happens a lot of the time. Ask yourself, does this align with wisdom, and will this decision bring order? Take time and think about it. That is perfectly okay. And then reevaluate regularly. We become comfortable sometimes. Oh, this is the way I've always done it, or this is the only way that I know. We have to reevaluate regularly. Take time each week. Check in with yourself. Check in. Are your actions aligned with the balanced life that God's wisdom calls us to? But we have to check in with ourselves to see, where am I at? How am I doing? Let me check my pulse. Let me make sure. I'm striving for order, so let me make sure everything is lined up, everything is in place. So just as God used wisdom, as we saw in our devotional today, Proverbs 3, verses 19 and 20. Just as God used wisdom to bring structure to this world, our devotional text calls us now to do what? To use His wisdom to bring order into our own lives. And when we rely on His blueprint, following His exact instructions, Noah had to follow His exact instructions. Others, when God said, this is the way that I want the ark handled, oh boy, he was like, oh, it's about to fall. Hey, but did he follow God's blueprint for the ark? And what happened? What happened when he reached up to try and balance the ark back? What happened to him? I know somebody knows. What happened to him? What happened to the two knuckleheads that wanted to go in and say, let's light incense in here? But God's blueprint did not tell them at that time, nor did they have the authority to go in and light those incense. But I could just see them. Light it, give me the match. Come on, light it. And God's like, oh yeah? It's not in my blueprint. Not in my blueprint. Boop. Yeah, they didn't make it. They didn't make it. So we have to rely on the blueprint. And when we do, those things that we're seeking, that life that seems so hard to attain, but when it's right here, God said it's not hard. Follow the blueprint and you will find peace that is aligned with my design, right? Don't touch it. Don't touch it. That's what he said. And old boy was like, it was about to fall. We was going over these cobblestones and the wagon wheel was falling in and I was just trying to push it back up. God was like, but I didn't tell you to push it back up. Ike didn't need your help. So Anna Mae had to eat that cake. Poor boy. Oh, mercy. Now, family, let's see how much we've soaked in this morning. How much of the knowledge have we mentally taken this morning and applied as wisdom? Let's look at it. Let's let it do.
In the morning, light so bright, it's the first light reflections quiz time. Tornado leading the way with God's wisdom. Let's start the quiz and seize the day.
Let's go.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, family. Our devotional text taught us that God used wisdom to create and structure the world. Is this true or is this false? Y'all sleeping in class over there this morning? Is that what our devotional text taught us this morning? That God used wisdom to create and structure the world. All right. Sister B, Arlene, Sam, Vanessa, Michelle. All right. Yes, indeed. That is what our devotional text, that was the point that God wanted to get across to us today. All right. According to verse 19 of our devotional text, how did God establish the earth? By luck, wisdom with an Android app, or by physical strength? We know it wasn't C. A, B, C, or D. How did God establish the earth? Jay probably getting dressed and she don't see that, y'all, so I'm good. Vanessa says B, wisdom. Arlene says, I'm gonna agree with that. Michelle says, sounds good. Julia says, yeah, that sounds about right. Yes, by wisdom, because he know it wasn't no Android app. We wouldn't even still be here if he was counting on that. Oh, there she go. we wouldn't even be here if he was counting on the Android app to get this world up and going. Ooh, we would be in some limited Snickers right now, y'all. Gilda says B. Oh, man. All right, fam. The Lord, by wisdom, founded the universe, heavens, earth, our stars. By understanding, he established the heavens. Fill it in, family. Universe, heavens, earth, our stars. Which one? Fill in the passage according to the New King James Version. The Lord, by wisdom, founded the what? 1, 2, 3, or 4. What say you, Anita? Michelle going with 3? Vanessa done looked over on her paper and say, yeah, Michelle, I'm going to go. No, Vanessa would say, yes, exactly. I love to hear Vanessa say that. Exactly. Oh my goodness. Earth. The Lord by wisdom founded the earth. And thank God he wasn't waiting on no Android app to try and do it. True or false, family? Satan often tries to keep us too busy or distracted to seek God's wisdom for order in our lives. Is this true or is this false? He wants to keep us busy, distracted, so we don't seek God's wisdom. Is this true or is this false? Careful how we answer. Heaven and earth are both recording. Also, this software is recording too, recording your answers. So we can't say, I didn't know. True. Let's see. That is true, family. All right. What does understanding help us achieve in our lives according to our devotional today? Does it help us align our priorities and bring stability? Does it make our life more chaotic? Or does it eliminate all of life's challenges? Or it guarantees us wealth? A, B, C, or D? What say you, fam? What say you, fam? Anita says foundations. Every time I see Anita's name, I just want to say AKB, Anita. Keela Brown, AKB. Let's see. Everybody going with A? Let heaven and earth record on this day. Remember, have an understanding. So when things start to feel like they're going left or the world's trying to draw you out and pull you out, say, I got to have understanding right now at this point. Lord, help me to align my priorities so that I can remain stable in this situation. Remember that. You're going to need it today. As a friend of mine used to say, keep that in your pocket as you go out the door this morning. Which of these is a subtle tactic of Satan that he uses to prevent us from seeking wisdom? Does he encourage self-reflection? Does he promote habits of peace? Does he keep us constantly distracted and busy? Or does he say, hey, Anita, you forgot to pray. You forgot. Slow down, saying you forgot to pray. 1, 2, 3, or 4. What say you? What say you, fam? 1, 2, 3, or 4. Come on now. Look, Alicia. She said I had to charge my iPhone. Jay. Justina. Let me leave Jay alone, man. Going with 3. Let's see. Keeping us constantly distracted and busy. Just go. Man, burnout. Be careful of it. Proverbs chapter 3:20 describes that by God's knowledge, the what were broken up and the clouds dropped down to dew. Was it the heavens, the winds, the depths, or the storms? What was it, family? A, B, C, or D. That's what we talking about, Alicia. She talking our language now. She talking our language. A, B, C, or D. AKB. I'm telling you, every time I see it, I'm like, AKB in the building. But my grandma always used to tell me, Tori, you got something. You won't understand it until later in life, but you got something. Use it wisely. Oh, I see things and I hear things. I tell you, and sometimes I just can't. I'm like, now why did you have to reveal that to me? I didn't need to know that, but, that's how it works. Yes. See, the depths. The depths were broken up and clouds dropped down the dew. Thank you, Lord. All right. Applying God's wisdom as our foundation does what? Helps us create a life of purpose and clarity. Is this true or is this false? If we apply God's wisdom and lay it as the foundation, will that help us create a life of purpose and clarity? Boom, 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 boom. That's all right, Michelle. I knew what you meant. She coming back to and say, I'm redeeming it this time. It's true. Sister B, Vanessa, Arlene right behind her, Gilda coming in. Julia says, true. Yes, it is. Clarity, purpose, peace. Whew, those are the things I need in my life. All right, family, what was our prayer time? What did our devotional teach us? That is a time that is especially helpful to pray for order and structure in our lives. Did we look at the evening watch, the morning watch, the afternoon watch today, or the midnight watch? 6 p.m., 6 a.m., 12 p.m., or 12 a.m.? Which one did we look at today? All right, Sister B. Michelle says, what Sister B said? We looked at the afternoon watch, 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. Very good, man. All right. I love y'all. I truly do. All right. We're coming into the gate. I need to give me some air brake sound effects over here. We about to put these air brakes on, coming into the gate with our last question, fam. Building our lives on God's wisdom provides a quick fix, lasting foundation, temporary solution, or a stress-free lifestyle. A, B, C, or D. If we build our lives on God's wisdom, it provides what? A, B, C, or D. Do, do, do. Arlene with B. Sister B. Michelle says B. Delisa throwing it up. Delisa over there, she probably getting the answers from Apollo over there. She probably like, Apollo, what you think, so we can get the right answer. Oh man. Lasting foundation. If we build our lives on God's wisdom, it provides us a lasting foundation that helps us to easily navigate the more. We can duck, boom, boom, pass it, boom, every time without fail. If we use the wisdom that God has given us, because in this world that is constantly in motion, it's easy to feel pulled in 1,000 different directions by 1,000 different hands all at once. But our devotional text, Proverbs chapter 3, verses 19 and 20, clearly reminded us this morning that God's wisdom can bring us balance and bring us clarity, just as he laid the foundation for creation. We too can use his wisdom to build our lives that are steady, purposeful, peaceful. Amen. Let us follow his design and let us allow wisdom to shape every part of our lives. And remember, family, you don't walk this journey alone. Emmanuel, God is with us each and every step of the way. And tonight, speaking of with us, if you want to join us back here, I will be back on at 7 p.m. I already have the broadcast schedule. You can look at the topic over there, see if it is something of interest for you. I will be sitting down with our very own Van Teresa. I call her 5430, right? Sitting down, going through a content creation plan for her, using God's gifts, using the talents that he has given us to build our businesses for the kingdom and through the kingdom. So I hope I get to see some of you back here for that this afternoon. Apollo said to tell you, if he doesn't listen to you in the morning, he listens to you before going. That's my deacon. See what he is intentional. Apollo said, ain't nothing you can do to convince me otherwise. If I don't catch Tornado in the morning, I am catching her before I go to bed. That's intentionality right there. Well done, Apollo. Man, I can't wait to meet you one day. That's my deacon. That is my deacon. So join us back here, 7 p.m., right? As we go through content planning out for her business, LDD Creations. And I look forward to seeing each and every one of you. All right, I'm out of here until, as you go out the door today with wisdom, walk good, do good, be good. Tornado, I'm out.
Hey, Mama, I love you. P.O.P. hold it down.
Wake up to the sunrise glow. First light reflections, here we go. Torah uses God's wisdom to guide us every day. Self-discovery on the way. Reflect, reset, be your best. Join the quiz, it's not a test. Feel the